lamppost and its dull lights were my only companions on these lonely nights, as I waited for the bus to take me home to my empty apartment. A ceaseless torrent from a sky blanketed in black clouds washed over the city. Its attempts to cleanse these filthy streets a futile endeavour. Raindrops beat upon my umbrella in an unrhythmic staccato as I stood there chilled to the bone. It was that time of the year for severe weather, and on nights like this, the downpour was so heavy and fierce I could barely see across the street. A greedy gust of wind nearly took the umbrella out of my hand. It pulled me along with it about a foot, testing my balance. In my brief panic at the moment, I did not want to wait here without some buffer between me and the rain. I thought I saw a tall figure standing in the middle of the street. The person wore a long coat with a hood obscuring its face. Those were the only things I could confidently confirm. I thought the person looked rail thin. It seemed that he was pointing out at me with something in his right hand. It appeared that the rain went out of its way to not land on this mysterious figure. Of course, late at night, alone in a sketchy part of the city, a ruthless storm battering you about like a wingless fly caught in the paws of a cat, the mind is prone to seeing things. Even in a simple lightless bedroom, the brain likes to play tricks and imagine things that are not really there. It possesses a need to make sense out of senseless shapes and patterns. Perhaps I couldn't confidently confirm I'd see anything at all. After securing my umbrella in a firm grip and looking back at the road, I saw no one. Stepping 1 foot out into the street, not that it made the slightest difference, I looked one way, then the other. Where was that accursed bus? No headlights piercing the deluge, no sound of a rumbling engine heading my way, only far-off thunder. No sign of my automotive saviour. I checked my watch and decided the bus must be running late. It was the only explanation, though it did nothing to quell my irritation. As I looked up from the watch, I started. The figure was once again out in the middle of the street. The lack of any other light sources beside my lamppost, the heavy rain, the large hood, it all combined to obscure even the slightest hint of his features. I continued to squint from under my umbrella. Was this person watching me as I looked at him, or was it some druggie zonked out of his mind, not even conscious of where he was? Maybe he was studying me and planning to mug me? Possibilities raced through my mind. Gathering my courage and undoing the knot that had seized my throat, I was about to call out to the man when a streak of lightning zipped across the sky, illuminating the scene as if the day had come and passed in a fraction of a second. The brief radiance did not expose the person's face to me. Instead, it revealed just enough vague suggestions of his features to send a pulsing dread through every nervous pathway in my body. Like a nostalgic scent long remembered, those sinister hints of what lay lurking underneath that hood reminded me of grim and harrowing things I'd seen in my childhood nightmares. Nightmares that had sent me bolting from my bed, crying out for my parents. Just then, a car sped past at the same moment the lightning's thunder tolled overhead. I was so startled I fell backwards onto the hard, slick pavement. The back of my head made brief yet painful contact with the ground. I had to lay there for several seconds, the back of my shirt and the seat of my pants soaking up as much water as they could. When I was able to sit up, my gaze immediately returned to the street. The dark figure had disappeared again. I checked all around me, but no trace whatsoever of the person. Person? Or should I say thing? That was the word my mind kept wanting to go back to. With a groan, I climbed back to my feet and set the umbrella back over me, all the while rubbing the back of my head. If I wasn't so riled up with anxiety and uneasiness, I'd have been flooded with embarrassment that some passerby had seen me stumble and greet the sidewalk. As I stood there, the rain decided to increase its ferocity and come down harder. I felt every drop as it hit my umbrella, feeling like I was being pelted with stones and sounding like a barrage of gunfire. I shivered as my wet clothes attracted more of a chill than they had previously. I grumbled under my breath, harsh words at the bus driver for prolonging this miserable night. I had had enough of waiting and was about to call a cab when I saw headlights in the distance. Finally! Thank all that was good, the bus was coming, a smile spread across my weary face. The bus was still several blocks away, making its way towards me with all the urgency of a spilled bottle of glue. As I watched the headlights moving through the curtain of rain, the lamppost I stood next to blinked out and I was plunged into an utter darkness. There were faint sounds of shuffling from behind me. I hesitated for only a second before spinning around. My heart was desperate to escape my ribcage, pounding against its bars like a caged prisoner. I could see nothing in the darkness and enveloped me in its chill embrace, a rank, fetid stench, like meat months past its expiration, slammed into my nose. My stomach churned, and a freezing dread penetrated down into the marrow of my bones. A faint, raspy voice spoke from right in front of me, though I was blind to its source. "It's time for you to depart." Approaching headlights illuminated the area. There was the hooded figure standing right before me, its features too horrible and terrifying for my brain to process. Even with my brain paralyzed with fear, my body's instincts knew I had to get away. I stumbled backward, my foot slipping off the wet curb. I fell into a whimpering heap in the street. The last thing I heard was the screeching of the bus's brakes as it failed to avoid hitting me.
Thanks for calling. You don't hear a lot of spooky bus stop stories anymore, but that one was really good.
Boo!
Give me a break. It took me hours to come up with that joke. I was exhausted. Have you had a creepy encounter while waiting for a ride? And what do you think of our new digs? Let me know in the comments. Well, that's it for the show. If you enjoyed it, give us a like. It really helps with the algorithm. And tune in next time. I'll be right here waiting for the next 13th caller.